At Citizen TV Kenya, 22422, that's our SMS line at samgituko@zinzi_K. Your feedback has been coming in quite quick. Let's take a look at that. All right, Okango, Fred Okango, this is a party secretary for Third Way Alliance. He says, well, the handshake was a choreographed idea. It is a better, the idea rather, it's a product of BBI which remains an amorphous, directionless, duplicitous is what you say, confusing, and unconstitutional is what you call it, with a predetermined outcome. It must be rejected like a plague.
All right, and then we look at Jacob Abere. Just listening attentively, panelists seem to be out of facts and practically out of handshake. They need to know before that the tranquility wasn't existing and needed to see we are seeing institutions trying their best and dragons bashed down. That's Jacob.
Still on Twitter. The hashtag is Daybreak. Okay, you say we citizens should be modeled in the sense of belief in the nation good before, be it in values or traditions, not individuals' undertakings, just in order to score political correctness with a few and for the few elitists.
All right, still on Twitter. This is Kennedy Tinder. Handshake was to provide smooth working space to build our nation, and the nation can't be built with the President and Honorable Raila. Everyone in this nation must make an input to build our economy. And you continue to say that how I wish our leaders get to the round table and see the clauses which are not working for the cohesiveness of our nation, then we get the amending to the amendment, whichever way we may have opted for. So that's what you're saying in as far as this is concerned.
All right, we still have a few more topics to touch on too, but Martin Munene, our reporter in Nyeri, is currently on standby. Martin, it's good to see you this morning. What do Kenyans feel on the issue of whether we do need to go on a referendum? Would they actually approve of that, Nyeri residents?
All right, a very good morning to you, Zinzi and Sam in studio. And of course, Nyeri County is one of the counties that overwhelmingly voted for President Uhuru Kenyatta. And just want to speak to two people here to just get a feel of what they think, whether the Jubilee has been able to deliver on its manifesto, and also what would have been different if maybe someone else was on that seat right now. A very good morning to you. Very briefly, tell us who you are and tell us, do you feel as a young man who actually maybe came out and voted, do you feel like the Jubilee party that is very dominant in this area, do you feel like it has achieved its mandate or its manifesto?
No. I'm Senior Madenge. I come from Nyeri County. What I can say about Jubilee government, it has literally achieved what it promised, but it has a big room for improvement, bearing in mind it has 3 years. So what I can say, they have improved on infrastructure, but they have failed on matters concerning the people. Matters concerning health and matter concerning employment, they have failed. But we are hoping for the remaining time, for the period of 3 years, we're hoping that they will improve and they will improve the condition of the people in Kenya.
All right, very, very thank you. He says that he feels that Jubilee has failed the people. Now, maybe for you, if I may ask, what do you think would have been different, for example, if it wasn't President Uhuru Kenyatta and Deputy President who won the election, there were other candidates, Raila Odinga and many others. What do you think would have been different if maybe these are the people or one of the other people is on, seated as the president of this country? Briefly.
Okay, yeah, I'm Karidu Amboy, and personally what I think is that first we have lost the matters of national cohesion, and I'm one of the person who are very worried because when you remember during the campaigns, the Jubilee government founded its campaign based on national unity, but what we are seeing is that every day people, it is deteriorating. It is even worse than what we were thinking would have been, and the other thing that I'm finding it that would have been different, it is a matter of education. As young people, matters education in this country, it's something that even doesn't seem to be known where we are headed. When you see the new curriculum, the other one, and matters of the young people, especially unemployment, the only thing that the government have done is to say that they're going to offer internship program. And personally what I look, it is like they're saying we are going to have an 8-4-4-1 system, because after all, if all the young people who have gone through the university have got the internship program, they will have gone for 8-4-4-1 system, and at the end of it, nothing will have been offered. So I'm thinking, or I would suggesting that the government must pull up its socks to ensure that people live equitably and that everybody lives in this country as if they did not just apply to live here.
All right, maybe as I let you go, rating the Jubilee government 1 to 10, 10 being the best, how much would you give it?
As per now, I would rate it 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. And maybe for you, how would you rate the Jubilee government's performance?
I will rate it at 5.
5.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. They say 4 and 5 respectively. 10 being the highest. They feel that the Jubilee government has done some things. One of them feels that they have failed the people. Yet, I mean, in as much as they have done some things, for example, infrastructural development, but they also feel that maybe if they concentrated more on the people, on the youth, maybe they would have performed better. They feel that maybe there's still time for the Jubilee government to improve, but for now, they give it a 4 and a 5 here in Nyeri County. Back to you in studio from Nyeri County, Martin Munene.
Right, thank you so much, Martin. Martin Munene there with the reactions, live reactions from Kenyans. Let's now head over to the issue of corruption. And of course, the fight against corruption was one of the key concerns during the 2017 presidential election campaigns. Many actually felt that President Kenyatta had done so little to deal with the vice, and the fact that some felt that the vice had gotten more entrenched. And during his time, we've seen several senior officials leave government after arraignment. The latest high-ranking officials being National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Henry Rotich and his Principal Secretary Dr. Kamau Thuge. But nevertheless, at the end of the day, Professor Wainaina, what do you make of the attempts when it comes to fighting corruption? Is President Uhuru Kenyatta doing enough, especially in this last term of his? We've seen arrests, despite the fact that no one yet has been jailed.
We are still looking for a goat with the guys who ate it.
Okay.
We will never find it. The current political class are the biggest beneficiaries of a corrupt system. They have no intention or motivation to change it. One of the problems that I find with the so-called fight against corruption in this country is what I would call the jigger approach to fighting corruption. You know, in the village, Sam, you don't look like you grew up in the village. In the village, you used to have jiggers.
How sure are you?
You're too primed to have grown up in the village. In the village, we used to have jiggers, and the solution to a jigger is you remove it and you go on with your life. There is this idea in this country that corruption is some sort of a jigger, you know, that we can just remove and go on with our lives. Corruption is not a jigger. The whole foot is gangrenous. The whole system is corrupt. The system is built on corruption. When we were in the school,
pick at the leg, what do we do?
That's what I'm coming. That's what I'm coming to. When we were in school in economics, we were taught that there are 3 factors of production: labor, capital, and which other one? Land. Okay. In Kenya, there are 4 factors of production: labor, land, capital, and corruption. If you do not factor in corruption as a factor of production in this country, you are doomed. One of the guys in your clips here, I think from Nyeri, was complaining that the government is concentrating on infrastructural development rather than people development. That is a classical recipe for a corrupt regime. Because corruption is built in the regime, it finds it easier to be infrastructural centered than people centered.
So, Professor, if you were president today, would corruption have been in your government? Would you have done away with it?
First of all, and you're not getting my point, getting rid of corruption is not about getting rid of something. Okay?
Would you have cut the leg?
It is about getting rid of the people who are the lords of corruption.
Okay.
And who are the lords of corruption? The current political class. So for so long, and that's what I said, if you remember during the debate, I said that the solution to corruption in this country rests in the people of Kenya, because the people of Kenya have to kick out the thieves from government and elect people who are clean and who have not benefited from corruption. For so long as the people who have benefited from corruption are the ones who are in power, we can't get rid of it.
All right, Prof, I will give you a chance, Dr. Kaluyu, but let's first listen to President Kenyatta on what he said. I believe it's last month when he was speaking in Mombasa about the fight against corruption. Just listen to it.
Mimi nataka niwaambie wote, kuna wasee sasa wameamua kufa kupona kazi hii ya kuchimbua tabu so please msiseme ni mimi sijatuma mtu. Wewe ndio umekutwa ukifanya lako. Na hawa wasee hawachesi. I'm telling you, hawachesi na hawacheki. Tutasoma sisi tu kwa magazeti, fulani ndio huyo tena ameenda, huyo siku nyingine fulani ndio huyo ameenda. So kila mtu pahali alipo fungua macho na ufikirie ile ambayo unafanya. Hakuna pahali ile mtu alikuwa anapiga simu, mambo yamekwenda, ni noma, nisaidie. Hizo simu zilizimwa. Sasa ni wewe ujitetee.
So that's the president, Dr. Kaluyu, and just to beef that up, we've seen several high-ranking arrests, arraignment, and of course people leaving office, like talking about what Zinzo was speaking about earlier on, the cabinet secretary in charge of national treasury, the principal secretary there, Kamau Thuge, and there are several other senior government officials that have been taken out of office. He says that we have to get rid of people, but you see these are still suspects, they're innocent until proven guilty.
Correct.
If you are president today, how differently would you be dealing with this menace?
So I think first it's very easy to get rid of corruption, because corruption, we have a constitution. Even all the referendum we are talking about, so to get rid of corruption and this and that, it's also in the constitution, particularly in the corruption end, where you do what you're not supposed to do, you are jailed. We have to have processes, project planning. Everybody can sign on it. So it's easy to discover who did what. So I don't understand where we are running with like a chicken all over the place.
Who is running like a kitchen?
Like chicken. Us looking for people who have corrupted the money, because they need to be signed off. A project plan has to be there. What we need is project plans. Who is supposed to do what? Signed off. If you signed off in the wrong place, you're supposed to go to jail. It's so easy, it's straightforward. I'm a project person, professor. I know exactly that. And then there are too many spaces to do with that. So I think what it is happening is lack of will to be able to execute that. And over time, the same politicians who have been in the system, they have networked. It happens. So they have networked, and I think one of the things in economics, and you have spoken about economics, we have been told always there is little resources and there is a lot of ideas to do that. What we were not told to complete that statement, it's that there are also unlimited ideas to make limited resources unlimited.
Okay.
So even the corrupt people, if they are shown innovative ideas, we don't have innovative ideas, if they are shown innovative ideas to actually even get 80% of what they are trying to corrupt, they will not corrupt again.
I'm trying to be practical on this.
I am coming from outside, therefore I'm not part of a cartel. I've never corrupted anybody, and I do not submit to any principles of any group or interest group. So therefore you need someone from outside who will now take over. President Kenyatta is saying everything right. He is, he's saying that.
How about doing
it, that's where he reaches, we will do more, because every generation.
I mean, he has let go some of the closest officials.
We need to see people put in, because if the evidence, and you have said, you are correct, you are innocent until you are proven guilty.
Right.
So that our system actually holds, and our constitution and democracy holds, we must put them through the process.
So if you are president, how much more would you do? Letting go your cabinet secretaries, your principal secretaries, senior government officials, and then the court process takes cue. How far would you go?
I would go to jailing them.
You can jail them. It's not
no,
within
the
your
process
power.
will need to go faster, because of the corruption and cartels, these cases, and we have been told, judiciary is very slow. I will clean up the judiciary as soon as I get to the office,
And
so that we have
Go ahead.
So that we have new people, because we have had judges being bribed and judiciary being corrupted. So even if you put...
Can you really use that blanket condemnation of the judiciary here?
No, not blanket. I mean, I think there are some members of judiciary who are really good and are doing what they're supposed to do, but we also have corrupt elements. You don't need the most people. You just need a few people to be able to corrupt the whole system. So cleaning up the judiciary and also using the constitution that is already there, and getting someone from outside who is not part of cartels, who is not corrupt, and he can be able to drive the agenda
So, Dr.
forward.
in your opening statement, when you were discussing the issue of corruption, you say that because you're out of the system, you'd have done better. So, nevertheless, if you were in the system, don't you not think, because we've had individuals who had the best intentions, they got into government, and they're no longer, they don't have that same fire that they had when they were asking Kenyans for votes. Would you, if it was you who is in the system, what would make you different? Would you also not be corrupted by the system? We've seen individuals.
The answer is no, because when you are coming from outside, you are not being brought.
What would make you different then?
Because I've been brought in by the people, and therefore you are serving the people, not
Who
the
brought
cartels.
in the current presidency?
It is the people, but when he is saying the right things, but because the system has been there, political connectedness, the networking that is there, what we say is that we will, just because, and I started saying, just because we are having different teams replacing others does not mean that we are not in the same team. So I support his sentiments, but I will also push forward, jail the people, and move the cases faster, clean up the judiciary.
All right, Prof, I'll give you a chance, but first, let's cross over to Eldoret, where John Wanyama is standing by. John Wanyama, good morning. What are the residents of Eldoret saying about the progress that has been made by President Kenyatta's second term in office, and specifically in the matter to do with the fight against corruption? Are we making any progress despite the arrest that we see, yet no person has been jailed so far?
Some residents of Eldoret, specifically here in Uasin Gishu County, have mixed reactions towards the same. Most of them are feeling like corruption is not being dealt with accordingly, and they are feeling like these things, they are just ending after someone is arrested, and then that is all. But they want to see this, especially these big people mentioned in this big saga, that they are arrested, prosecuted, and the case is complete immediately. But they feel like the cases are really taking long to complete. But let me sample out some few opinions from residents here just to get the feeling. Mzee, pengine wewe unaona serikali ya Jubilee inapigana na ufisadi ipasavyo?
Mimi naona serikali ya Jubilee inapigana na ufisadi ipasavyo. Mahali tumefikia, tunajisomea magazeti, tumeona hata kazi ambayo inaendelea, na mambo haya na yale ingine tunaona wakirejesha ambayo ilikuwa imenyakuliwa.
Na pengine wewe unaona mambo serikali, kuna mali yale mambo ambayo ya kupunguza mzigo, kuna mambo ile ya BBI. Maoni yako ni yapi?
Maoni yangu, ningependa tuwe na civic education katika mashinani, kwa vile tujui ni kiasi gani ya punguza mzigo ambayo tutapunguziwa, ama BBI, ili tufunzwe na tupate kushika tukiwa wananchi wa Kenya, ili tupate kufahamu vizuri. Tuwe na civic education katika kijijini na mahali pengine hapo.
Mzee, wewe unaona serikali ya Jubilee imefanya lile iwezalo kuhakikisha kwamba inapigana na ufisadi?
Mimi naitwa Mr. Nicholas Osama. Mimi ni mkazi wa hii Eldoret town. Lakini kuna sita kwenye hii county na Kenya mzima. Jubilee imefanya juu chini, lakini kuna vikwazo. Nyuma kuna vikwazo. Hii watu wote wa corruption, kwa nini hawapigwi risasi ama wafungwe life? Hii watu wa corruption wameipia sisi mamilioni ya pesa, akienda pale kotini anapatiwa bodi ya 50,000 na ameipa 2 billions. Je, hiyo ni sheria gani inatumika katika Kenya? Ningeomba Rais wetu Uhuru Kenyatta na mheshimiwa Raila Odinga washikane pamoja, hao waisi wawekwe ndani. Mr. Maranga, the chief magistrate, anaitwa Maranga.
Yes.
Maranga saa hii anatakiwa hawe ndani. Juu Maranga kuna kitu anafanyia wa Kenya.
No, hatuwezi kufikia hapo. Asante mzee. Asante mzee, asante sana. Na pengine mzee, wewe unaona mambo na ufisadi, taifa hili limeweza kupigana vipasavyo na ufisadi?
Kwa majina mimi naitwa Richard Rotara. Kwa kusema ukweli, naona serikali ya Jubilee inaendelea kufanya kazi mzuri.
Well, all right, of course, that's John Wanyama. We would have wished to continue listening to him, but unfortunately I have to wind up in a few minutes. But first, that in the cancelled August election, and I use the data from that election as it's what I would term a normal election where candidates and voters participated without coercion or persuasion not to participate. Professor Wanaina, you are last with just over 8,800 votes. That was 0.06%. Dr. Kaluyu, you are sixth with just over 11,700 votes, translating to 0.08%. How do you change this to over 8 million votes required to make you president in 2022 if you choose to run? First of all, do you intend to run in 2022?
That is me. First, I need to correct you. You said sixth, the other time you said fifth, so you need to correct your numbers.
No, the fifth one for the repeat presidential election, and I'm saying
okay. This I have to defend myself and my supporters to make sure that we did not actually lose. It's just we ran out of time because we were continuously. Yes.
So
you know, if we were for 3-4 months again, today I'll be sleeping in the State House. So anyway,
it's already morning.
So to your question, and that's a good joke. And it's not a joke, I mean, it is real. To be honest with you, the Kenya needs a different kind of approach.
Right.
What we are doing is not working because what Kenyans need to do after all this, after all the ideas on TV and everyone else, they just want to be able to have food, water, they want to have shelter, good education for their people. Most Kenyans, they have common aspirations to have their families, you know, safe and all that. So we need to be able, I know there are big ideas, only 5% of Kenyans are like they have college degrees. So the common person is suffering out there, and I've been in rural areas. I've just come from there last night. People are hungry, just simple things, not a complicated economic formulas and all those kind of things. So we need to be able, and those are provided in the Bill of Rights in the constitutions, that we must provide those. So as leaders, we need to see what we are going to be able to do. Big ideas. So we cannot make 2022.
So Daktari, the short question is, will you run in 2022?
I intend to be there in 2022.
As an independent candidate or within a political party?
Actually, that is very important because we have just formed a new political party called Unified Change Party, and I am the political leader like everyone else. And the clarion call is we the people, because we need, and it cannot be used by anyone else, we need to be able to be taken there by the people, collecting ideas.
So how will you, I mean, from a 0.08% in August, how do you convert that to 50% plus 1?
Well, we introduce ourselves to the nation. And having been either we will eliminate those who never participated, that will be number 4. So having been 3 spaces to the State House, on the first attempt, we started as 19 candidates and we finished strong. So the nation got to know us. I wasn't known before. Now I meet everybody in rural areas, in cities, telling me if I knew about your ideas, I would vote for you today. And 2022, I expect it to be there because now people know me, they know my ideas, and we intend to lead with UCP, Unified Change Party, and go to the State House.
Professor, how do you answer to that? How also do you change your 8,800 voters to 50 plus 1?
You know, when you invited me to this show, you didn't tell me that you're supposed to be speaking about our political aspirations in 2022. When you call me for that show, I will come and I will give you, I'll answer that question. When you called me for this show, you told me that you want us to discuss about the state of the nation.
Which we have.
And where the nation is, and where the nation is going.
And haven't you not done due diligence to that?
And I am still on the state of the nation, and we were answering the question on the fight against corruption, and I was saying that the only way we can sort out that issue is to get rid of the people who benefit from corruption. When I ran in 2017, I remember I gave a popular saying that we are looking for a goat with the people who ate it. And the recent attempt to fight corruption is an extension.
You call it an attempt?
It isn't.
Not real.
It is not true. It is. If it's real, you would have seen it yourself. The people who have been talking, the clips, okay, you have heard them and you have heard what their sentiments are. And there is a very good Nigerian, West African proverb that explains why we cannot fight corruption strong enough. I used a phrase earlier on and I was told that I cannot use it. I hope that I can use a proverb, even if it is an interesting proverb. And the West Africans say, you have to be very careful when you want to kill a fly that is perching on your scrotum, you have to be very, very careful. They are being very careful about killing the fly that is perching on their scrotum.
I will not leave you on this because, Professor, you have so many suggestions on how we can get it right. Do you intend to do it personally by leading this country?
I started this by saying we are the change that we are waiting for. If some you are waiting for a savior called so-and-so to come and sort out the mess that we are in, it will not happen. We, the people, will have to sort it out. Will I be part of the solution? Will I be part of the alternative? Absolutely. I was in 2017, I am now, and I will be part of the solution until we run these Canaanites out of town.
So you have no direct answer to the question.
I have a direct answer to the question that I am an alternative. I will continue to offer alternatives until we run the Canaanites out of town.
Okay, all right. So that has been the presidential panel of Professor Michael Wainaina and Dr. Japheth Kaluyu. Thank you so much for making time for us to come and speak about the state of the nation and what you've been doing over the past 2 years as we look forward to the 3 final years of the President Kenyatta's term. Let's just take a look at what we've been saying on Twitter as well as on SMS line. We begin with who? All right, on SMS, this is Shabi from Baringo County. Fighting corruption in Kenya? By who? Many people in positions are beneficiaries in one way or the other. Even most common men had a share. When and where to begin fighting corruption is the jinx we face as a nation. When and where do we start?
Okay. Still sticking to 22422, that's our SMS line. Comment from Eldoret. Good morning. You say the Kenyan dream continues to be elusive. The ruling party is now fighting itself and thus betraying the voters who put it in power. Mr. Ekot, Dr. Ekot rather, has warmed the hearts of many Kenyans with his Punguza Mizigo bill. We should therefore listen to these leaders to benefit from their policy alternatives.
Who else do we have? On Twitter, the hashtag to use is Daybreak. This is Kennedy Atinda. I am tuned in. Say hi to my good friend Dr. Kaluyu. The two gentlemen are articulating issues quite well. They seem to have an alternative to pertinent issues affecting us as a nation. Let them sell their agenda to Kenyans.
Okay. Hashtag Daybreak. That's your ticket into the conversation. More money. You say the new constitution is good but has issues. If you buy a sophisticated car but the tires and suspensions not right for the Kenyan roads, you don't throw the car away, you get a new one. You fix the tires and suspension. All right, you continue to say, on corruption, I agree. The goat has been eaten. Let's stop looking for the goat, pardon the eaters, and protect the kid. Corruption is, okay, corruption is not in the government, or rather, corruption is not in government only, but entrenched within the society. Let's overhaul the system and change mindsets. Let's be honest with ourselves.
And finally on Twitter, this is Akoko Ivy. You said that we should understand why the BBI was constituted. So far, we are not aware whether the final choking will lead us to referendum. And for once, let's stop putting horse before the cart. The horse before the cart. And so, just to indicate that, right. So, just one final question. It's a very short answer. A scale of 1 to 10. How do you rate the Jubilee government? In Nyeri, they are saying 4 out of 10. Another one says 5 out of 10 for you.
Given the intentions, I would say 5 out of 10.
Okay, 5 out of 10, 50%. You?
They don't qualify for a ranking.
Whoa.
At all?
We rank students who have minimum entry requirements. These guys don't even have minimum entry requirements to be graded.
You wouldn't give them even a 0?
I wouldn't give them any grade. They are disqualified.
Okay, all right. So finally, just to indicate that we had invited Dr. Ekuru Okot of the Third Way Alliance, but he said that he's attending to the Punguza Mizigo Bill popularization campaign in Bomet County. We had invited Joseph Nyaga, who said that he's not available at this time. Mwalimu Abduba Dida is not in the country, as well as Cyrus Jirongo said that he's traveling out of the country. Those are the leaders that we had reached out to come and sit with us. But all the same, we had these two, Professor Michael Wainaina and Dr. Japheth Kaluyu. Thank you so much for making time for us. We take a short break, but when we return, we'll be joined by Willis Raburu and his panel of Sporting Monday to look at what has been happening over the weekend in matters football.